It's a day on which India's most inexperienced batting lineup in a test in nearly a decade has been carried single handedly by a 22-year-old. India are 336 for 6 at stumps on day one of the Visakhapatnam test against England. But what could that story have been had it not been for one Yashasvi Jaiswal? Welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. Sanjay Manjrekar joining us as usual. Thank you, Sanjay, for your time. And where else to begin but the story of the day? Yashasvi Jaiswal in a lineup as severely depleted to bat through the day like he did, even as he kept running out of partners. A knock he can be very proud of.
And a knock that Rahul Dravid and the team management will be very happy with, and they'll be very obliged to Yashasvi Jaiswal. Basically, what Jaiswal did was he made up for those guys who got in and got out. A lot of batters today got to their 30s. It was a much more manageable pitch, but couldn't go on to get a big 100. So Yashasvi has got a 100 for himself. I think the next one, if he gets there, and whatever he gets after that 100 is more for the team.
And if you look through his innings, there's incredible maturity that you see. He showed this the first ever time he batted in tests. That was against the West Indies lineup. This time, he saw there's a James Anderson in front of him and gave him full respect. Hardly scored of Anderson through the day, but then made merry against the spinners.
See, Jimmy Anderson also wasn't like he didn't bowl much. He bowled about 17, 18 overs, so he bowled quite a lot. I don't think a single boundary was hit by Jaiswal against him. So that is maturity. He realized this is a bowler who's not going to give you hit me balls. And he's an attacking player. He's very much a modern day product. He's an IPL star as well. But a lot of the shots that we saw him play today were not him trying to unsettle the bowler or try and play the baseball. It was him punishing the loose ball as he saw fit. And that was the most impressive thing about Yashasvi Jaiswal. This was not so much counter-attacking or trying to put the bowlers off their line and length. This was actually Yashasvi Jaiswal batting and progressively starting to dominate. And that was an excellent sign.
And yet, if you remove Jaiswal from the scorecard, India would seem all at sea because the rest of the batters together, 160 odd for 6. Based on what you saw of this pitch on the opening day, how do you rate India's overall batting performance? How much more do they need to get on board to feel comfortable in this test?
Now, this is going to be actually very fascinating, this test match. Like the first one, this might also have a few surprises. And this is the beauty of test match cricket. Now, my reading of day one is obviously this is a much better batting pitch. Indian batters, the batting unit going through a transition. So if you imagine, the Fab Four of the past batting on a pitch like this, you would have maybe seen them just shutting out the opposition in the first inning. That's the kind of pitch that we had, and the inexperience of the English spin attack was evident today in conditions that were not as helpful. Having said that, because the others haven't contributed, England's still very much in the game. That last wicket as well, Akshar Patel was an important one to fall. So they kept chipping away, and it's only Yashasvi Jaiswal who is giving India their nose is in front slightly, but this is turning out to be a good test match. And this pitch and this first inning that we'll see unfold, I think will test more than Bumrah and Mukesh Kumar the quality of spin that India have, because this is not one of those rank turners that we've been used to seeing. So this is a slight aberration from what we've seen in home matches.
So then, based on the batting effort, on what was not a ranked turner, one of the individuals to focus on, the captain himself. He built quite a reputation of scoring those important knocks when India were playing home tests on ranked turners. Now, in these two tests so far, we've seen two opposite kind of innings, both of which ended early enough. He went quite hard in Hyderabad. It was almost completely the opposite this time. Did he appear bogged down?
See, Rohit Sharma, nobody can actually get him to become overly defensive just through sheer, bowling. So it was about Rohit Sharma deciding how he was going to play in this innings. And I must say that Rohit Sharma that we saw in England in that 4-match series and then the one-off test match later, and the Rohit Sharma that we saw against Australia in the first Test match in the last home series. It's not that Rohit Sharma that we're seeing in the Test matches. He had a great impact in the 50 overs cricket, but Test cricket is not quite the same that he was a couple of years back. And today, my only assessment of Rohit Sharma's batting was that mentally, he didn't look there. I mean, he didn't quite look like he was in their focus. Yeah, clearly it was obvious that he was overly defensive. But even in the way he was playing defensively, just got that impression that he wasn't quite there.
Right. The other batter to focus on is the debutant. From numbers 3 to 5, you saw India's batters get starts, all of them falling between 25 and 35. We've spoken enough on Gill and Iyer, and I suspect we will in the days and tests to come as well. But your first thoughts on Rajat Patidar, what you saw of him from his first innings in Test cricket?
Clearly has a feel for spinners. I thought he played the spinners well. One, hallmark of Yashasvi Jaiswal also, and in that partnership with Rajat Patidar was the fact that they weren't playing dead defensive shots. Either they were pushing the ball on the front foot, which means they're getting to the pitch of the ball, which is a great sign. And anything that was slightly shorter, they were going on the back foot and pushing it for runs. So that is something Patidar did right from the start, and that is a good sign. So here is a guy who looks at home against spinners, played a couple of reverse sweeps as well, which is a good sign. But the moment Rehan Ahmed came into bowl, he looked a little tentative. Maybe wrist spin is something that he's not entirely comfortable with. But whatever we saw an Indian batter, a product of domestic cricket, show us, how comfortable they are on Indian pitches like this, where there is a heavy offering of spinners.
Right, let's focus on the England bowling. One seamer in James Anderson with 183 tests, three specialist spinners who between them had three test caps coming into it. What do you make of their bowling effort on the whole? And let's start with Anderson, of course, who did in a way what he's been doing for so many years.
Yeah, wonderful. Every time you see Jimmy Anderson bowl, it's a bit of a blast from the past, when Test cricket was at its highest quality all over the world. I'm talking about the West Indians in the 80s, and then, of course, under Mark Taylor, the Australians, and there was Pakistan as well. India, had their moments. So he's a reminder of that legacy of great fast bowlers that we had over the years. He's right at the end of his career on a pitch that had nothing for him. He had Indian batters beaten outside the off stump on a pitch like that. Eventually getting a batter out caught by the keeper. Now, that's a very rare thing to happen on Indian pitches. So he showed his class. The economy tells you about how accurate he is as a bowler. And I love the way England use him. We think he's not bowling enough these days. He's not playing enough. But when he actually plays, he bowls a lot of overs. I mean, in the first session, he bowled 8 overs, and immediately after lunch, there was another 3-over spell. So he ended up bowling quite a few overs. So that's a nice way to use a great bowler, wherein when he plays, the opposition batters will get the full brunt of that greatness.
Yeah, and much like he'd done on England's last visit, just kept a lid on the scoring all through. His 17 overs have gone for just 30 runs so far. So that's how it ends on day one. A day that is quite unique, Sanjay. It does something, it's a pet peeve of ours when we follow cricket from the outside. We have seen what has almost seemed unthinkable. 93 overs bowled in stipulated 93 overs bowled in the stipulated time of play.
That can be done. And I remember under Virat Kohli, when India wanted to get the opposition out quickly, and when he had spinners bowling, I remember they had reached once, I'm not kidding, 23 overs an hour. So it can be done, just about wanting to do it.
Yeah, well done, England. Long may you continue to play so many spinners and play finishes on time. And we're done on time. Thank you, Sanjay. We look forward to your company through the rest of this game.